Okay, welcome back. I'm here with John from NHP Consulting. What I love about this conference is it brings a meeting of the minds and the people who have been involved in this. Now, you've helped a lot of people apply to become licensed producers.
That's right.
Many of my friends are trying to become licensed producers and they just can't seem to meet that word compliance. And there's only 21, according to our legal documents, active licensed producers right now,
right.
That have been permitted. What's your take on that? Because that's kind of what your NHP Consulting does.
Yeah, the major thing we do is we help people get their license, and part of that license is also building your quality systems, which is all the procedures in place. So the application process, it's ambiguous. There's not a lot of guidance documents to help people understand what the word compliance really means. We come from the pharmaceutical industry, so we're used to working with the regulations and interpreting them and telling Health Canada what they want to hear. So that's the expert advice that we bring to the table to help people get licensed. Because even when Health Canada asks you for more information, they won't tell you exactly what they want. They'll just tell you, you're not giving me what I want. So you really got to be able to speak their language and give them what they want to hear and see.
So some of these people that are being cut, like I know there was like 600 or 300 licenses cut, and they're not reaching compliance. I guess it's got to be an odd, because I know there's lawyers that stop taking on new cases or new consulting just because of what's going on. What's your take on what's going on at the federal level? Like, is there something bigger going on? Like, why is there only 21 licenses and there's thousands of applicants?
Yeah, we find the process is moving at the beginning. You can apply, throw in your application, give them all the documented evidence that they require. They can do their security check. But we find that all of our clients are being held up at the final security check and at the ready to build. Like I was talking to not our client today, but another person that's in the application process. They have their ready to build and they've been waiting 9 months for an inspector to come on site. So obviously there's something going on in the background. I'm not 100% sure what it is, but if I was to guess, I would have to say it's to do with the radius around your facility. Health Canada has, within the last month or two, been asking for an aerial view of your site with a superimposed 500-meter radius around it. And after talking to a couple security consultants, because we work with a lot of security consultants as well, they're saying, listen, if there's any house within that 500-meter radius, they will refuse you.
Wow.
Yeah, I've heard of one instance of it. I heard it again today. So what might be happening in the background is they're interpreting their regulations in a different way, and they might be consulting like the RCMP on the security risks of a house within 500 meters, and they might come out with another guidance document to help people along with the process. But right now it's a stalemate.
What possible security risk could there be between a marijuana grow facility and a tomato grow facility? Do they need a 500-meter radius?
No, I agree, and I was talking to
really?
No, I agree. I was talking to my consultant today. I go, where's the common sense in that? Are they worried? The only thing I could think of, and this is pretty outrageous, and in my eyes impossible, that, let's say there is an armed robbery. If someone says, you know what, I know these guys have $1.2 million of dried marijuana in their safe, we're going to go there and we're going to rob them. What happens if a resident happens to be walking by when that's occurring, and what happens if there might be a stray bullet, or what happens? That's the only thing I can think of, but it doesn't make common sense to me either.
It's like the safe. Say at first, Health Canada said you need a level 5 security safe or level, to be able a level 5 safe to be able to meet compliance. Now, what I'm hearing from the guy that actually sells, need 7. So all those guys who went and spent all that money on the 5, Health Canada said, are now not going to get in.
Yeah.
And so if you're listening, you're not going to get your licensed producer status if you're at level 5 with your vault.
Yeah. There's a trick you can do as well. Like I say, if I know I have a level 7, like what I do with customers is, usually you don't want to keep more than 4 months on stock. You want your cannabis to be fresh. You want to give your customers the best that they want. But if I'm at a level 6, I'll just say, listen, to Health Canada, you know what, I'm going to keep 6 months of stock. I won't, I'll keep 4, but I'll keep 6 months of stock. It raises you to a level 7. You have to pay a little bit extra money in the vault though. So
there's ways around it.
There's ways around everything, right?
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm seeing, is that there's ways around everything. I guess in closing, one of the big things that I'm concerned about is the medical patients at the end of all this, and not just, they're suffering as a result. The licensed producers aren't necessarily the bad guys. I believe that the legislative powers that be that are right in the MMPR and in the previous MMAR, quite frankly, both of them are just a bad set of policies that put us in a position now of where do we go? Like, you're in a position where there's 1,000 people, most of which you may have helped, you know, consult to get their license, and we're finding out now that there's something else going on. Now, I don't know what it is. No. I'm not saying what it is. I just know there's something more, and I don't believe there's going to be that many more licenses in the next 12 months, over and above maybe another. Yeah. I don't know. The original projection in the backgrounder was 51 licenses at fiscal years 1 and 2. Then they changed that language because the public didn't like it. So they changed it to if you meet compliance.
Right. Well, you always have to meet compliance. And to me, Health Canada is not there to say, you know what, we're capping the amount of licenses. You know, supply and demand is going to take care of that. As long as you comply to the regulations, which are there to make sure that you're growing a safe product that's not full of mildew, bacteria, chemical residues from pests or cleaning agents. To me, that's the foundation of the regulations, to ensure that people are getting a safe product. Yeah, but there just has to be a better dialogue. There has to be more communication between industry and Health Canada.
But how can we market a safe product when nobody's died, there's no toxicity, no addiction? How can we say that it needs to be a safe issue, a safety that's...
Well, you're talking about acute illness where people die on the spot after taking medical cannabis, where, you know, there could be long-term effects if you're smoking cannabis, where someone, you know, they're not trying to hurt someone, but they don't know any better. They spray the vegetative plant before it goes into flowering, but the product, the residue on the leaves make it to the bud makes it to the person smoking the cannabis.
We don't have any recorded cases of actual deaths.
No, it doesn't. That's
the whole thing. So I mean, in our garden, we spray our tomatoes outside with the very same pesticides. We eat them.
Tougher skin,
again,
on
a personal scale.
Right?
I understand that we need to have regulation, sensible regulation, and we do need to have licensed producers, and the people that you're trying to help, the consulting business that you're doing, is to help those people who want to help the people I represent, is the end medical patient, and that's what I care about.
We're on the same page.
We are, and you see the same things I do, and I want to talk with you more in private about it, but for the purpose of this video, I do appreciate you coming on, talking with Cannabis in Canada. Thanks again, John.
Take care.
Okay, take care. We'll see you in the next segue. Cheers.